create expectations for such a youngster because you have no idea how that's going to go at the time. You know, there's a lot of eighth graders who don't make it. Looking back there, eighth grade, could you have ever foreseen these next 4 years happening?
I mean, it was definitely a dream to be, you know, a McDonald's All-American. At that time, that's when I really started like loving the game for real. So I mean, I started seeing progress. 23 on a pros grad team, so I'm seeing that my work is working.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: watching you over that time, it seemed like, and you correct me if I'm wrong, like the first weapon was your mid-range pull-up game. Is that that's fair?
Yeah.
When did you figure out like, okay, this is my game and this is how I get to my spot? When did that happen?
I just always loved middies for some reason. I always used to watch great scores, and they always used to live in that mid-range area. But I mean, sometimes it'll just be like I'm taller, so I just raise up. But now, as the game is speeding up, better defenders, I'm trying to learn and picking spots.
And so tell me about that now. Is you picking your spots and your game's obviously diversified. You've added to it, like, and you've worked out with some of the biggest names in basketball. Everybody's seen that trending. But like the day-to-day, what are you working on?
A lot of shots. Just going to college, I want to be a 40-plus three-point shooter. Like, it's just going to create more for me and my teammates. So a lot of shots, a lot of catch and shoots. But I stay working on my midi, working on my finishes and ball handling. I got to improve on that.
We had KY on the 24/7 show a few weeks ago talking about the totality of the resources at BYU, but also like style of play.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people use words like positionless, like pace, like space, but they play pretty differently.
Yeah.
How do you envision yourself fitting in that pace and space system?
No, I think with their play style and who they get, I can definitely be anywhere from 1 to 4. So, I mean, if I get the rebound, I can dribble and go coast to coast. I can set up plays. If I'm getting double teamed, I can pass out of it. I can play the 2 and 3 and be a scorer. I can be a 4 and have the switch on the.
Do they even label positions like that?
I mean, it's still labeled as like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but at BYU, we don't play positions.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, Yegor lots of times primary initiator, but may not bring the ball over half court, but they're gonna play through him a lot of times. So and how important, I think one of the things that's such a good fit for you in that is the amount of shooting you're going to be surrounded with in the spacing. Is that something you guys talked about in the recruiting process?
Definitely. Like, if you have shooters in the corners, that's why the NBA is so not easier to score. I'm not going to say that, but it looks easier to score because there's so many shooters around that you really can't help off. So if I'm having shooters around me, guys can't help off, or it's a corner 3.
How much, I mean, we're sitting here and we've got 2 different cameras on you. Every time I see you, you have had a camera on you for like the last 3 years. Do you ever get used to that?
I'm used to it now.
Yeah. Do you look for, I mean, is it ever like you have like, oh, I'm getting recorded? Or are you just so conscious of what you're.
I kind of expect it sometimes. Like, even I'd be with my friends at the mall and I'd be like, I might be getting recorded.
Yeah.
So just being mindful.
So if you need to be in a spot where you get a break, like, what does that look like? Where do you go? What do you do? Just the house.
Yeah.
Can't go out.
Yeah.
It happens to me too. It's really annoying.
All
right. Last question for you. A year from now, presumably in Chicago, right? Combine.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here. I'm like, AJ, what have you added to your game in the last year that you did not necessarily have? Because I think we can say, like, if from last year to this year, I would say your 3 balls better.
Yeah.
I would say the amount of rim pressure is improved. So a year from now, what are we saying?
I'll say from a physical standpoint, just being more elusive, playing more laterally, getting lower, and adding about, I'll say 8 pounds to myself. I don't need that much.
You said elusive?
Elusive.
Okay.
Yeah,
what do you mean by elusive?
Like, I mean, I'm pretty elusive. Like, I can jump high and all that, but trying to play more like slithery.
Yeah. You got a lot of that like elasticity type to your
Yeah,
body.
But I mean, in high school, I take a lot of long strides. I mean, I don't think they'll let that slide at the next level. I don't see a lot of people just stepping through the lanes like that.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But from a game standpoint, easier reads. Like more point guard reads, like skip passes, more lobs. I don't really know how to throw lobs.
Interesting.
So more lobs.
Okay.
And just a more diverse way of scoring, a more efficient way.
What's the most underrated part of your game?
My defense.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Court coverage and defense, 100%.
My on-ball defense, I'll say that.
Okay. Off-ball's got to get better?
Yeah.
All right.
I stand up.
Okay. That's what you're talking about, standing up. All right. AJ Dybantsa, been watching him since the 8th grade.
Yeah.
Never expected this. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.